To the Woman Witness podcast on the Woman Witness TV network. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to our 12 episodes of December with 12 inspiring women with 12 inspiring stories. We cannot wait to gift you a gift that continues to keep giving throughout the month of December. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Woman Witness Podcast, The Stories at the Well. I'm your host, Leah Fortier. Here on this platform, we bring to you voices of women that are out there making a positive impact and making a difference in their lives, in the community, in the world around them. Today, I have another special topic with another special guest, and I cannot wait to introduce you to her. I was going to say gift because she is a gift. But I'm going to introduce you to my guest. But before I do, I'm going to read a little bit about her. Jasmine Clarke is ecstatic about transforming how women care for their skin. She has aided over 300 women in realizing the advantages of a plant-based products. Drawing on her own experiences as an award-winning spa owner and esthetician, she recognized that the foundation of skincare wellness begins in our youth. Jasmine is delighted to announce her new book, Melanin Skin Glows, a children's book designed to teach kids about healthy skin practices and routines. Without further ado, I am so excited to introduce to you my guest today, Jasmine Clarke. Hey, Jasmine, welcome to the well.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for such a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. Jasmine, you and I got to chat and right before we press record, and I am so pumped up just from our little chat. I was like, we have to get started. So I cannot wait to get this interview started. You are so much fun. I'm so excited to have you on. Okay, Jasmine, let me start by just jumping in. I want to ask you a little bit about your background and your passion and how your journey shaped your approach to creating a business surrounded by healthy skincare.
Beauty has been a part of my life, and really just the foundation of just always looking your best. There's a saying that when you look good, you feel good. So growing up, my grandmother and my mother were very instrumental in creating this foundation for me. They always, wanted to look very well put together. And they prided themselves in that and just always showing up, because they always say, you never know who you're going to meet, right? You never know. You always want to make sure that you are showing up as your best self. And so throughout my childhood and in various places, I did pageants. I did all these different things, from movies and acting, all these different things I did as a kid, theater. And so, these little things, I would even do makeup. I remember in high school backstage for plays. And so I ended up going to college for communications journalism. And even throughout school, I would still cover stories that somehow dealt with beauty and fashion. So what I found is that my storytelling really was all about finding ways to help people feel good, right? And recognizing the beauty within them. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you made up with all this makeup, or you have the best designer clothes. It wasn't about that for me. It was really about people finding beauty in their story. And so I ended up starting a health and wellness company some years after I graduated. And the products were focused on plant-based products. And so I realized that there were not many people within this company that looked like me. And I realized that there was something that was missing, and that piece was education for people of color. And so I became that person. I seek to find ways to help us to learn how to take better care of our skin. And to help us understand that it's not just about what we consume, right, as food that's going to help us to have longevity within our lives, but it's also about the products that we're putting onto our skin.
I love your approach, and I could not agree more with you. I think a lot of times, because we don't understand and we don't know what to put on our skin, what works. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I still use that Olay Olay. I think it's an Olay. You know that bar that your grandma used to have in the bathroom, and it was pink. I can't think of the name of it. She's like, girl in there, going to put some soap on, and don't put nothing else on there, right? Because I was always afraid of my skin was going to break out, which it did. But anyways, um, education. I agree 100% with that. We need to know more. So, can you explain to us why maintaining healthy skin is crucial for our overall health and how it impacts a person's confidence and self perception?
Well, one, I would say there's no wrong time to start, right? The earlier, the better.
Mm.
So, I will say that there definitely is a need for us to be consistent with a routine. So when we think about the importance of our skincare, it's really just simple steps of just starting something that makes us, one, be more prepared for our day. So I would say, just if there's any way for me to just kind of consist the question, it's just like creating a routine that's simple for you,
Mm.
whether that just be cleansing or moisturizing, right?
Yeah.
It's simple, right? Skincare really doesn't have to be this whole, long drawn out thing that, social media tries to make it, where there's 6 steps, 10 steps, all, all these different
Girl.
steps.
Girl.
Keep it simple to start out. Yes.
Right. Nobody got time for that,
No,
really. Oh,
really.
I'm
So keep
sorry.
it keep it simple to start out. But my point is that this is something that can build as a foundation for you to be confident. And the main key is consistent, right?
Yeah,
In your routine for something. That alone gives you confidence. Like when we think
that's true.
about I'll give another example. When we think about like working out, right? That's something that we have to build consistency with, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so a lot of people don't understand this, but just like we train our body, we can also train our skin.
That's
And
true.
so, and those are simple things, just like going to the gym in the morning, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes, where we're taking time for ourselves. Think about that when we do our routine, right? It's building confidence, because now we're creating a self-care routine for ourselves to feel good.
Yeah. I could not again, you're right. And I know we're gonna talk about starting when they're younger, right? When we are younger. It's now I have like a preteen, he's 11, and he sees like a little dot, he's like, Mom, and he's like throwing everything on his face. I'm like, no, 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 bro, you don't need nothing but some soap. Get that all lay in there. But right? But I do know that it's important that we put the right things on. I have learned it's important that we put the right products on our face and on our body. So, I don't want to tell him go in there and get that soap. I want to come up with a different approach. So I'm glad I have you here. So I want to talk about skincare through life stages. And we talked about a little bit, how does the importance of skincare evolve from our youth to our childhood? And what are some key practices and treatments that you would recommend at different ages?
Oh, that's good. That's a good question. Um, so I'll start, like you said, with even preteen, right? And
Yeah.
then and up. Teens, as we know, go through a stage of puberty where
Yeah.
they're experiencing breakouts, they're experiencing acne, what have you,
Mhm.
right? These changes because their bodies are changing, their hormones are changing, right? And
Mm.
so these same things are what we see also throughout adulthood, and even as we enter into like mature ages,
Mhm.
is it really is based on hormonal changes. So um, I also want to add that skincare is also, like mentioned, about consumption of food and what we're eating. It's more than just products, are just even just one section of just like how we're caring
Okay.
for our skin, right?
Right.
But diet matters, right? Our lifestyle matters. And
Right.
so as we begin to age, we'll notice different things. So I will always say, one is to recognize what your skin type is, right? And you can do that by simply like book a skincare consultation, right? I would say
Mhm.
I, as an esthetician, offer them, but also even just seeing a dermatologist. I mean, there's
Yeah.
many people that don't even have a dermatologist or have never been
Yeah.
to one because they don't see an issue with their skin, or they wait until it's too late, right? But
Mhm.
it's almost like dental care, right? It's
Yeah.
skincare is as a preventative, right? You're going to see a
Right.
dermatologist as a preventative. So um I would definitely say recognizing your skin type. Is it oily? Is it dry? Is it, more acneic? Is it
Mhm.
combination, meaning a mix of oily and dry?
Mhm.
Is it sensitive, meaning, you have more redness, right? There's many things that you can kind of pick
Yeah.
apart pieces to
Right.
see how your skin is reacting or how it is on a regular basis. And then
Right.
is it normal, right? Pretty balanced.
Mhm.
Once you can kind of see where you are, where you fit in those areas, then you can better choose or select the products that you're using for your skin type.
Mhm.
And that's where seeing a professional comes in. But I guess as far as evolving, just moving into the second part of your question,
Yes. No,
I
you're
think
good.
that
You're good.
those things evolve as we age. So as people get older, right, as we move into a mature age group, I think that their concern a lot of the times might be skin sagging, or like
Yeah.
also sometimes people experience a lot more moisture or sometimes dryness. But as we get
Mhm.
older, our skin also does have more moisture, which is a good thing.
Yes.
I would say it's a
That's
good
the
thing
way.
because you
Yeah.
don't want to have dry skin. So
Mm-mm.
did I miss any portion of that?
No, no, you nailed it. You nailed it. I'm going a little bit off topic real quick because I want to talk to you about these different stages and hyperpigmentation, especially for our brown people. I mean, me. I'm talking about me. Okay. And you know what I found, and I'm gonna share a little bit of information about myself. And you can't tell right now because I do have on makeup, but uh, you. And I have to, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it started with like even with my mom. My mom, her skin, like the older she got, it gradually started losing pigmentation. And I realized too, even with myself and even with my brothers. So I have went to different dermatologists, and I had to, really check the dermatologists that I was going to because they were not all well educated or versed, if I could say, in all different skin types. And I found myself, looking crazy, and I don't really want to look crazy. You know what I mean? It's already bad enough when you have to, try to blend in makeups and different things to get your skin one color. So, is this normal? Why is this an issue, and how can we begin to tackle it if you can relate to this?
Okay. So so the question, is hyperpigmentation normal, right? Is it
Yes.
something that, okay. So hyperpigmentation definitely happens more often with people of color, simply because our skin is more sensitive or prone to scarring
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
breakouts, right? It can
Mhm.
be anything as simple as a small scratch, or
Right.
it could be irritation from something as simple as bacteria on our skin, right? That can cause
Mhm.
us to have a breakout. Now we go scratch it, or we don't do something to care
Mhm.
for it, that causes the scarring, right?
Mhm.
Let alone having, let's say you already have acne skin, right? And then
Mhm.
you go out, you're not protecting your skin. Sunscreen is a whole nother
Oh,
conversation,
whole
but
nother conversation.
you're not protecting your skin
Yeah.
outside. By the way, you need to have sunscreen. I would say at minimum 30, but you should be using sunscreen during the day, even if it's a cloudy day, to protect your skin. Because even if you do have hyperpigmentation or scarring, if you're not using it, it's only going to get worse from being in the sun, right? Because it's those areas. So I think knowing the right protection. So yes, it is something that can happen. I would say, is it necessarily normal? I would say it varies per person, and what the skin type is or their issues are. But the best thing we can do to prevent that is by being one, having a consistent routine, but being more cautious about what we're doing to our skin. Um, and as you mentioned, like, again, hormonal things, those things change throughout time. But depending on the skincare needs, you might see somebody that has more pigmentation issues than others, whether it be from cystic acne. There's many different variations and causes. Even medications, certain medications cause people to have pigmentation issues as well.
But you wouldn't think it would be hereditary? I mean,
Um,
especially,
I would
and let
say.
me and let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. It's literally like you're losing color in your face,
I wouldn't say.
right?
I
Is
wouldn't say
that
that's. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Pigment. Oh, so you're speaking to losing color, because
yes?
hyperpigmentation is darkening of the skin.
Oh, okay. So
So
then
if you have like a dark
reverse
mark,
it. Okay.
yes. As far as losing color or dullness as someone ages, that could be. I mean, it could be a couple of things. It could be lifestyle things, right? But also as we age, it's just finding other ways that we want to like provide more elasticity or plumpness or glow to the skin. So
Mm,
that could be reversed through like diet or treatment of
mhm.
different treatments for the skin.
Really?
hmm It
Okay,
could
this
be a
is
lot. It
good.
could be a lot of things that cause that. aging is one thing, right? But it's
Yeah.
sometimes, and I don't know, I have to see her, but color loss there could be a couple of things. Maybe she
Yeah.
needs a treatment. Maybe it's dermaplaning to help brighten the skin. Maybe it's the products
Sure.
that she's using.
Yeah.
There's a lot of avenues. And I keep saying medication because a lot of the times medication also, people don't realize that we take does also have an effect on how our skin reacts as well.
Uh, Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna get off of this because I don't want y'all to be sitting here worried about me. But listen, I will say this, and we talk about Michael Jackson. He started off real dark, and everybody want to just say that he bleached his skin. Okay, but living in it and within my family and seeing, I mean, maybe he did. Okay, let's just say I ain't trying to say he did it, but living through it and actually seeing your skin loss in color, you have to question, like, maybe he did it. Maybe there might be something.
Yeah, there are other forms, and I'm honest, I have not fully researched the condition of what may have caused it. Maybe he could have had skin bleaching. He could have also had a form of vitiligo. Vitiligo also causes a loss in pigment of the skin, where you'll see
Mm,
that I believe the white blood cells is what is taking over, and so that causes the person to have more of the white patches in their skin versus them having the even tone. So he could have had vitiligo. He could have. We don't know, right? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I haven't researched to find that out. But
mm,
people just automatically resort to bleaching because we know that to be something that completely just brightens. It completely whitens the skin.
right.
But I mean, he would have to go through an excessively a large amount of bleaching to have his entire body
That's
be.
true.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
To
That
have
is
his
very
whole
true.
body be,
Right.
whitened to
That's
the
right.
extent that it was.
That's very
So,
true.
it definitely could have been a condition.
Can I ask you something, Jasmine? And I don't know why this is not in my notes, but I want you to talk to some of us, especially it's big in our culture, in some places more so than any, about skin bleaching. Give us your thoughts. Give us your insight on that.
I would say there's two different narratives to it, right?
Okay.
And I don't offer any skin bleaching services
Okay.
at my practice. Not that it's an issue with it, because I do know that the reason I'm saying is that there's two forms or two sides to this, is that
Correct.
I do know that there is also a popular service that people are getting regarding intimate bleaching, which is you can do your underarms, you can do intimate areas, any areas that may have hyperpigmentation or
Mm-hmm.
darkening, right?
Hmm.
These areas are being bleached to help brighten those areas so people feel more confident. Let's say it's summertime, right? You go to lift your underarms up and you have darkening under your
Right.
underarms. You want everything to be even.
Right.
Or even intimate care, you want to have the same thing. And so what
Mm.
I'm finding is that that is very popular, that people are doing. So that is
Yeah.
another form of bleaching
Got it.
that people are, I guess I want to say, they're okay with.
Okay.
Right.
It's
um,
acceptable.
mhm.
Okay.
Then the other form of bleaching would also be them just doing their whole body, which I also have a Caribbean background. My
Okay.
father is Jamaican, and so I find that I know in the culture there is something which they don't necessarily agree with either, is
Right.
that people do bleach, right? And they do this in order to, again, brighten their skin tone, because it's something that they feel is going to be more acceptable in society, right? If I
Mhm.
show up and I may be of lighter skin tone, then I'm accepted here, or
Mhm.
and I think for me that I feel like I'm able to show up as I am. I don't think that it should matter. I think you shouldn't have to worry about bleaching your skin type in order to be appease someone else, or fit that you need to do this in society to be accepted, right? But people do it. And
Right.
so there are also many health factors that are not positive that come with certain types of bleaching for the full body. So
Mhm.
that's my perspective. I would say you're beautiful as you are. If you're watching this and even considering it, it's not something that's a need to be accepted. Just be yourself.
I love that response, Jasmine. That was so good. Okay. You have a holistic approach to your practice and what you do. And I want you to talk to us a little bit about the intersection between faith and beauty, and being completely okay with yourself and acceptable in your sight and who you are. Talk to us about how your personal faith influence your professional approach to beauty.
Okay, well, that's another good one. Um, I would say, I think for me, it's always been about when we think about think about God, and I think about him loving us as we are, right? Christ loves
Mhm.
us as he loves us, right?
Mhm.
And I think that he loves us, God loves us as ourselves and who
Yeah.
we are. We're created perfectly in his image. And
Mhm.
so when I think about even makeup, for example, I'm someone who loves makeup, but I also, again, learning about plant-based alternatives to
Yeah.
makeup, vegan alternatives to makeup, right? Products that don't have any synthetic dyes or parabens. These are things that are linked to breast cancer, various things that people don't even think about, right? We're just applying things every day and not even looking at the ingredients. I feel like makeup should be there to enhance what you have, not to
Yeah.
cover up, right, what you might be trying to correct. And so when it comes to, like, combining those things with faith and beauty, I think it really just comes down to you finding your true self,
Mhm.
loving on you, who you are as a person, and in truly embodying that. The makeup is just there to enhance. The beauty is there to enhance, whether that be, it doesn't have to just be skincare, whether that be, right, because estheticians focus on hair, skin, and nails. It could be from extensions to anything, right? It's just,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
have to find what makes you feel beautiful, and don't feel that you have to be compare yourself to anyone else. To me, it's not a need. God made us perfectly in his image to be who we are. If we all
Mhm.
um acted the same, talked the same, did the same thing, there'd be nothing to share.
Nothing. Right.
Right.
Right. Right. We robots.
Right.
AI.
So yes, so I think that is I think that's just my basis for it, is just to, to kind of combine those things of knowing that we're beautiful as we are,
Right.
without necessarily needing any additions. Maybe small enhancements to makeup, but there's no need for you to, you don't have to do anything extra.
I hear what you're saying so loud and clear, and I love your ministry, and I want you to talk to us a little bit about that as far as, being okay with yourself from the inside out. And an only way to fully really correct that, one is like you said, going to see a dermatologist, getting, okay with who you are underneath so you could show up in both with a little bit of makeup on and without, and feel completely good about yourself. So I love that. So with that being said, how do you mix that into your brand? You have a line, right? And so I want you to talk to us a little bit about your line and your innovative treatments that you use and how you incorporate that into your practices, into your products.
Okay. I also want to add this too, and this
Yeah.
is just came to me regarding your last question,
Mhm.
is that in the Bible, if you're familiar with the story of Esther, one of the things that she did was she did 12 in preparation to be married to the king, right? She did 12 months of beauty treatments. This recently came to me, literally, like through me, literally through studying through the word, but also just one morning I woke up and, like, I was like, oh my God, I heard the word Esther. And I'm like, Esther, where did this even come from? And I was like, okay, God, you're telling me to read the Bible, right? I need to look at this. I need to look at this story. And so God speaks to me in different ways. So I'm like, okay, listen, I I can't ignore what I'm given. So I started to study this. And so what God was showing me in this passage was skincare in the Bible. Right. And so when you spoke, the reason I brought this up is because you spoke about my ministry through beauty. And so I love purpose work. I'm always trying to find a way to give back. And so I knew that this was God showing me that the work that I'm doing is purpose work through God. But anyway, in the story of Esther, they did 12 months of beauty treatments so that she could prepare for her marriage, or to be with the king, to be married to the king. And so they did 12 months of oil and myrrh, and no, 6 months of oil and myrrh, and 6 months of perfume and cosmetics. And so when I think about that, right, and I think about as
Mm.
women, how we prepare ourselves and our lives, and even just confidence, back to what you were saying, it is just like we are always in preparation to try to find ways to be ourselves. But one of the things that we first have to do, this doesn't necessarily have to mean this is for our king, right? But
Right.
your king could be God, right? Right? It
Yes.
could be for that. It could be our relationship and preparing ourselves for that. But it's just also finding our ways that we're able to beautify ourselves, right? And finding a holistic and natural way to do it. And so moving forward into your next question, in regarding to how all of these things come together in my practices with plant-based products, I started making products during the pandemic. And I also have oils as well. It's a skin oil that you can use. I like to call it a multi-purpose oil, because you can use it for your hair
Hmm.
and your nails as well. But these are all things that I realized I had to start bringing to the forefront. I needed a signature line for my company. So I was working in healthcare at the time during the pandemic,
Mhm.
and I was struggling with hyperpigmentation along my jawline from wearing the masks. And so I said I have to figure this out. And I had products, but I didn't feel like they were working as fast acting as I needed them to.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I took a soap making class online and learned how to make my own products. And so that's how I started. I ended up learning all the processes from cold process, which is a form of soap making, to hot process and melt and pour. These are, I know anyone watching this is probably like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no,
it's just
I'm
it's different.
mesmerized. Please keep going.
It's different forms of ways to make soap.
Wow.
Okay. And so I learned all the processes. I found which one that worked best for me. And that's how I start. My first bar that I made was a honey turmeric soap. And that's what I consistently started to use. And I varied ingredients, kept trying until I found something that really worked. And that was the first bar that I ever made. I had a pop up shop, it sold out. And it kind of, the rest was kind of history from there. So, when I say it's like you find something that works, it was literally because again, corrective skincare, I needed to find something that worked. And the pandemic led me to that. And yeah, I'm just grateful. When I say God just continues to just find new ways to work into my life to show me what's needed. But it's joy that I find in being able to have people come in to see me and leave feeling like a new person, whether it's through skincare or brow care because they have thinning eyebrows due to, maybe it's hair, maybe it's a health condition, or maybe it's aging.
Mm.
I just love to make women feel good in their own skin.
Oh my gosh, Jasmine, I am just in awe with you right now. I really am. And I want everyone to lean in a little bit because I love how you were able to hear the word of God, one. And he gave you a name and you were like, "Okay, who's his name? Let me go find out." And I just want y'all all to know it doesn't matter how well versed we may sound. Okay, especially I can only talk about myself. Don't nobody know everything. And sometimes God will give us a little word. And if he gives you a little word, find out what it is, what it means. Just start reading and it'll start speaking to you.
Seek it. And I said I've read the Bible so many times, and I've not all the pieces, but I'm reading. I'm going through. I grew up in church all throughout my life, but I find that in your relationship with God is what's the most important thing that
Yeah.
I found, and how you choose to go about studying, right? And He just wants your time, right? God just
Yeah.
wants your time. And so I'll just
Mm,
say, like, I had an aunt that passed. Her name was Esther.
mhm.
So I said, okay, God, I know you're not going to come to me in that way to speak about somebody that has transitioned. So what is it in me waking up? Okay, this is like 4 something in the morning. I'm like, okay, what are
Right.
you showing me? And I said, I know that it has to be that I need to look at this story in the Bible. I had never read the story of Esther
Wow.
to its entirety. And when I tell you, I've read through that thing now multiple times, and I'm like, the understanding of the story, it
It's
just
so
speaks to, yeah, it
it's
speaks to
packed.
where I am. And
Right.
I just thank God for the Holy Spirit for revealing that to me. So,
Wow.
you're right. Seek the knowledge of
Yes.
what you're being given, and be obedient to it. Don't wait. God
Yes.
is showing you something.
Yes, I always say that heaven has plenty of ideas. There is no don't feel like you're going to come up with something that's going to be, oh, everybody's already doing that anyways, or that market is saturated. It needs you, it needs your idea, and God's going to give you something special. Okay, I want you to tell us where we can find you, where we can purchase your products.
Yes. So my website is sojazzedesthetics.com. That's SOJAZZED
Mhm.
aesthetics. ESTHETICS.com. That is also my Instagram, so Jazz Aesthetics. And my personal page is linked there. I also want to share that I do have, we talked about affecting younger
Yes.
generations and
Yep.
leading a new generation. So I want to share that I also do have a book that I am a new author of. And I have all the information linked in my bio for pre-orders. But this is my book,
I
and
love it.
it's called My Melanin Skin Glows,
Oh
and
my
it's teaching kids pretty much how to create their own skincare routine. In the back, I have a activity for them to create a face mask. I'm sorry, you guys can see this.
Oh, yes, I
um,
love it.
and also how to create a routine. But it's a story that it's fiction. I weaved a couple of pieces
Yeah.
from my own life in it. It's a story about a young girl who has an issue with skincare and
Mhm.
decides to her grandmother takes her to a beauty counter and she gets products. She starts using them,
Yeah.
and then the kids at her school start to recognize her new glow, right? And then they're
Yeah.
inspired to start a skincare routine.
Oh, I
So,
love it.
yeah, so I wanted to have something for kids to try to understand the importance of one, personal hygiene, but also why they should create a skincare routine. So, all of my information is where it's linked to, as well as my products. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here, and I thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Jasmine. And I love your book. I love the book idea. And one thing I feel that makes kids get really excited about their own personal journey in skincare. And I love that you said that you have um, instructions on how they can make their own face mask. I mean, how exciting. I can tell you right now, my boys would love to do that. Okay. Do you understand? Just because they're in, when they get to that age where now they're noticing little pimples and stuff, and they are all over that stuff. So I love that so much. I'm going to get that book.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you. And it's definitely well versed. So it has, I wanted to try to have representation, also like multicultural representation, but
and boys,
there are
thank you.
boys in there as
That's
well.
amazing.
And
Okay. It's good.
it's a fun activity that parents can do with their kids as well.
Yeah, yeah. I love that so much, and the haircut in that kid was so cute. Okay, ja Jasmine, I know we could talk forever, and I absolutely love what you brought to this well today. You brought beauty within and bringing it out and helping us just find our divine purpose and walking in our skin and just being confident in that. So I appreciate you so much, Jasmine, for coming in here and pouring at this well today. I feel blessed. I feel full. But before I let you go, I have to give the floor back to you. I need you to leave us with some beauty to take with us throughout the week.
Ooh, that's good. Okay. So, some beauty to take with you throughout the week. I would say choose one thing that you can do this week that is going to make you feel good. It
Mhm.
doesn't even have to be that you're creating a skincare routine. Maybe it's just you going and taking a new class or getting out and going to lunch with a friend, right? Or I don't know, maybe purchasing a new product, something something
Yes.
that is going to, or even reading a new book, something that is going to enhance you. That also is beauty. So do that. Find one thing you can do this week. Let Leah know what you did, okay?
Please let
Or
us
me.
know.
Just do something to make you feel good. Even treat yourself to something like a spa day. If
Yeah.
you can't do that, do something at home. It doesn't take much to, even if you do a foot washing, fill a little basin, put some flowers in there. You should have some flowers here. Put some flowers in there.
Yes.
Throw in some Epsom salt, some essential oils, and just take time to relax and do something for you. Because
Mm.
so many times, or I can even speak for myself, we do so many things where we are pouring out for other people and helping other people, where sometimes we forget about ourselves. So
Yeah.
you can't pour from an empty cup. I say that often. Do what you can this week. That one thing to fill your cup up so you feel good.
That's so good, Jasmine. Thank you so much for that. Do what you can. That's deep right there. Do what you can because like you said, too many of us are we don't have time to do this. We can't do this. I can't find that. Do what you can.
Yes. Do the best you can with what you have. Okay.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay. Jasmine, my mind is going a million miles per hour. We can continue to talk. I have so many questions. I'm going to have you back on. And ladies, if you were inspired by this conversation and you have more questions for Jasmine, please put them in the comments. Please go to her page and ask her. Maybe perhaps you'll give her a new idea for a new product or something. Maybe even partner with her, which is what I want to do. So don't jump in before me. Um, but get in there. If you don't have the time to do it yourself and you have good ideas, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jasmine has options that welcome partnerships. Look, I'm putting you on the spot, right, Jasmine?
No, I do. I welcome them. I welcome partnerships with local businesses, also businesses that are not local to New York. Anything that we can do to work together to just spread a message of impact, and make a difference. I'm definitely all for it.
Thank you. I knew she would be. But I do have one more thing to say, Jasmine. What I really love one thing about the Well is that we share stories, that we partner with each other, and that, you know, we are impacted by each other's stories. And before we press record, you were telling me about the story that impacted you and why. And I had to ask you to stop, because I'm like, no, I want you to say this, you know, because it's important that we are authentic and that we shine through with our authentic selves, because it touches different people in different areas of their lives. Do you mind just sharing the story that impacted you?
Yes, I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it. But I found your podcast through Instagram, and I'm always looking to be a part of conversations or platforms that are finding ways to give back, or that have a purposeful impact. One, I love the name of your podcast.
Mm.
Just alone, just women witnessing. We witness many things through our lives, right? But we may not always know how to go about sharing those stories. So thank you for creating a platform for that, and a safe space for women. But the story that, I don't know the full story. I don't remember the one young woman's name, but she did have a disability. And the reason why I was so taken by her story is because she was basically empowering people, or encouraging people to understand that regardless of where you are, right, anything that you might have that might be considered as a disadvantage, or might be considered as you lacking something. I'm getting emotional. Know that you don't lack anything, right? You don't lack anything. You have all that you need, and just to keep powering through. And I found that to be something that was so heartfelt. And I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Because it gave me the it just showed me that you are someone who has created a platform for everyone, for every woman. That's the key. It's for every woman, regardless of how you have to show up, right? Regardless of what, again, somebody might feel that they're lacking. And so I was like, wow, I have to reach out to them. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. See, then you make me cry. Okay. Um, Thank you so much. And the episode that you seen was with Wynn Charles, and she is amazing. I want to encourage you all, ladies, after listening to this right now, go through, find the episode with Wynn Charles. Her story is captivating. Her story changed my life, and that's really what it's all about. And you know, about us coming in, being our authentic selves, sharing our stories, and pushing and encouraging another sister. So thank you so much, Jasmine, for sharing that. Thank you so much for being a guest here on Woman Witness Podcast, The Stories at the Well. If you guys were blessed by this episode, we ask that you take it, you share it with a friend, share it with a family member, share it with a sister. Get in touch with Jasmine. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And if you think that you'll be a good guest on the show and you want to reach out to us, please feel free to send us an email at info@womanwitness.com. That's info@womanwitness.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. For joining us on another episode of the Woman Witness Podcast on Woman Witness TV Network. Perhaps you were chosen for such a time as this to write, to tell your story, your truth. Until next time.